Hey folks, today I want to take a minute to discuss some, possible pattern changes that we'll see on targeting big trout, this time of year. Take for example, this past week we're down here in Port Mansfield, and we've come from, some fairly cool temperatures, colder temps, starting off, the mornings in the low 40s, mid 40s. With days in the 60s, now to starting off in the 60s and getting to, I believe it's probably 82, 83 degrees out here today. And what we see is a little bit of a feed pattern change, okay? And it goes, it all ties back into post-front or pre-front and post-front bites, okay? Now, what we see down here in particular, and it's the same up in Seadrift, back in my home waters, but typically before a front, they're eating bigger baits, whether it be your big 5-inch paddle tails or corky fat boys. And then you go to the post front bite, and we start seeing, they're eating the smaller baits, 4-inch paddle tails, or softines and softine XLs. And I think one of the rationales, in my opinion, behind that is the fact that because a fish may not feed, a big trout may not feed on that high pressure, so to speak, after that front gets here and our pressure rises to, 30 or 30 and a half, somewhere in that ballpark, typically shuts down the big trout bite. And if that fish is not gonna, if that fish is gonna lay around for a couple days, well, obviously they're gonna try to go after bigger baits to sustain themselves over the course of that period. Then you get to the back side of the front, and you start to see that they're eating smaller baits and things of that nature, simply because it's warmer. Maybe going after the bigger baits is too hard. They use too much energy to do so. It's easier just to pick up a handful of smaller baits. But therefore, we see kind of a more aggressive feed because they need more of the smaller baits during that time frame to sustain themselves. And that's just some of the things that we kind of see, on a weekly basis or a daily basis, I guess, really, down here fishing, for big trout. And like I said, it's not just here, but other parts of the coast, especially back in my home waters. And I think if you kind of key in on that and adjust your tackle box accordingly, I think you'll have a little more success. Now, we got a front coming. I don't think it's coming till Sunday. This Sunday evening, I think, is what I heard now. But it's supposed to blow pretty good. But then it's supposed to be a pretty significant front. So maybe you can try it out. Maybe you can start your new plan this coming weekend and see how it goes. Y'all be safe out there. Be careful, and hope y'all catch a good one.